High Octane podcast here, people. I got a really special guest, somebody that I've known actually for a long time, Brennan Miller. Brennan, I'm going to let you kind of give the audience a little bit about your background and we can kind of get into this thing, man.
Sure. So my name is Brennan Miller. I actually grew up playing baseball against Bobby. Bobby and I, we were never on the same team. We always played
Never.
against each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I have some horror stories of losing a game to you hitting like a walk-off home run. And
Yeah.
I'm like, God dang it, Bobby. But no, so we've always competed against each other.
Yeah.
So I ended up playing junior college baseball and wanted to stay around the game. I knew I was never going to be a minor league player. And so got into the world of umpiring. And I went to umpire school back in 2013, and I got hired full time by Major League Baseball and at the end of the 2022 season. So
Yeah.
that's my life, and it's great now.
What do you think's harder, dealing with MLB managers or parents? That was a question I
Oh,
wanted to ask you.
parents,
Really?
parents all day because, well, A, you're really not supposed to address parents, right?
Mm.
It's just a no-win scenario.
Yeah.
So you're really not supposed to. And if you do, it's not going to end well. Like it's not like an umpire is going to turn and go, "Hey, that's enough," and the parents are going to go, "Oh, okay." That
Yeah,
never
sure.
happened. That has never happened in the history of baseball. But when you're regarding a MLB manager, we know each other, right? Like
Hmm.
I know this person on a personal level at this point,
Sure.
after having them for so many years. So even if they're saying the harshest things in the world, I know it's not personal. They're doing a job, and I
Hmm.
totally respect that. I think it's great, actually.
Yeah.
But with parents, the parents have gotten out of control. I mean, in my opinion, it's why there's a nationwide shortage of umpires.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't
Um,
know that.
oh, it's been going down each year.
Really.
Yeah, and when you look at the research behind it and the polls, it's always parents. It's parents and coaches.
Mm.
And I'm seeing it a lot more on the field from players. So like when you're watching the Little League World Series or something like that, like I'm
Yeah.
seeing a lot more aggressive arguing or disgust of an umpire's call than I've ever seen. It goes up every year.
Mm.
And it's not the kids' fault. I don't blame them. I blame the parents in the stands who are screaming and berating the umpire
Sure.
over a call. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like who's to say that you're right?
Yeah.
And I think I take that approach very very harsh because I'm the type of person that if I screw up a call, I will tell you or I will do my best. Like,
Sure.
and so
You're human. Yeah.
if you come in the game to pitch and you throw a pitch, you think it's a strike, catcher thinks it's a strike, I ball it. I'm not just gonna tell the catcher like, hey, no, like that's a ball. Like
Mm.
if I truly don't know, I will usually respond with like, "Hey, I thought it was off the plate. If I'm wrong, tell me because I know you can go back and check it and great."
Right.
But
They can check it like that too, right? I mean,
yeah, oh
with
yeah.
an
I
iPad, they
mean,
know in real time.
yeah, yeah, they know very fast. And I think it's trying to humanize everybody
Yeah.
in the sport and understanding that like if I'm wrong, there's no one more upset than me. But I think it's
Sure.
understanding that like I'm not trying to miss a call and I'm going to miss calls. And I think that's one of my biggest struggles on a daily basis, especially behind the plate. I want to be 100% right.
Yeah.
Never gonna happen.
But has that ever
It's just
happened ever in a game? Like, has the umpire
uh
ever been 100% accurate?
yes. Yes, it has happened, I think, twice, and that's according to certain data.
And is that
There's
like within the last decade or like 2 decades?
Yeah,
When did you guys start tracking that?
that's within the last 5 years. But I think the important thing to know is that there's different data sites,
Mm.
and so on one source for data of a strike zone, on another one you might have three misses. From
Okay.
this one you're perfect, and then on another you missed one. Like it'll vary. So I think I think the word perfect is a very stretch of a word because
Yeah.
sometimes uh, you can't strike a pitch that the it's caught horribly and the ball went loose and went to the backstop. Like how can I strike that?
Right.
Because I didn't even see it as a strike. Like
Yeah.
it was never caught. The glove was thrown and the ball's at the backstop. Like I think it's harsh for me call that a strike because then now I'm gonna have a whole dugout screaming at me, right? So I think perfect calling a perfect game I think is a stretch. I think it's trying to understand the game and knowing what to call when.
Yeah, no, I think that's right. And we won't, I know we talked about not talking about the ABS or anything, but I remember I threw, if I can bring this up, I threw in the
Yeah.
fall league of 20, oh shoot, what was that? 2019, I think it was. And that's they were trying the ABS stuff out. And
Hmm.
I remember watching guys like botch balls and getting called strike. I'm
Yeah.
like, this doesn't seem right, but that's just my opinion. So I
Hmm.
thought that probably was a good time to bring that up. You said human eyes, like with all the like tech and stuff. Well, first off, let me ask this: like, how do they judge what a strike zone is? Or I know that you guys are taking in height for every player to some extent. Like,
Hmm.
how do you define the strike zone? I guess as a human, what are you guys going up there at and saying, okay, this is what this is today? Does that make sense?
Yeah. So it's the top of the strike zone is not by height.
Okay.
It's now if it's under a challenge system or something like that, it's going to be by height.
Okay, so they do use that in the challenge system,
Yeah, it's by height there.
and yes, and you guys did that in spring this year, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the way that we're calling games, the top of the strike zone is defined as the midpoint between the belt and the hands as the batter is ready to hit.
Okay. So
So
it's kind of
essentially,
dynamic.
yeah. So essentially, it's give or take. It's essentially when the ball is like halfway to home plate.
Okay.
When that batter loads, you got to draw the midpoint between his hands and his belt,
Okay.
essentially, and that's the top of the strike
Gotcha.
zone, which
Okay.
will vary obviously pitch by pitch.
Yeah.
If they turn to bunt, that changes everything.
Yeah, it does.
If Yeah, or if they go back to the dugout and they change their swing on the next one because something's not working. Now their strike zone might change a little bit,
Mm.
right?
I didn't even
Um,
think of that. Yeah, I didn't even know that.
yeah, and then the bottom is at the bottom of the knees essentially.
Gotcha.
Uh, a lot of people think it's the top or something like that, but no, it's the bottom. And then obviously the corners are the corners. So
And how the hell do you judge that when it's going 1,000 miles an hour? Like and I try to see everyone's
yeah,
perspective, and
yeah,
I was never really one to get mad at umpires because I can't imagine having that
yeah.
job. It's thankless, and there's like it's just I feel like that would be very difficult. So like, how do you do it, dude? Like I think that's a fair question. How do you
I
even like?
think
It's like hitting.
yeah,
Like you
no,
can't even see it.
yeah, no, I mean when when a player says to me like you have the hardest job in the world calling these pitches, my response is always brother, I think you got the hardest. You're trying to hit this dang
Yeah, and
thing,
hitting
right?
stuff too.
Yeah, I could never do that.
Hmm.
But no, I think it's with any job in the world. If you have any job you could possibly think of, if you do it enough time with enough reps, you're going to be pretty good at it. Yeah, you
Right.
might make mistakes here and there,
Hmm.
but like I'm at the point in my career where if I call a pitch, give or take an inch and a half off,
Hmm.
I know it. Like like
Do you
like
know
if
right
I
after?
yes, I don't know it in the moment because it'll take a second to process sometimes, and I'll call a strike, and I'm like, that was off. Damn it.
Mm.
Like that's kind of how. But I go back and I look at the pitch, and yeah, it's an inch and a half off, or it's an inch off, and I'm like, okay, I missed it by that much. Okay, I can handle that.
Live with that. Right.
Yeah, but I think it's more of like you learn to study um, what you start to miss
Yeah.
and what you're good at, stuff like that. So like I know that if a lefty pitcher comes in and his arm slot is at the side a little bit, I know mentally I need to start calling it 2 inches off the plate
Yeah.
on the other corner
Uh,
because it's clipping that corner.
where
And
it's
so
where it's crossing.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's actually something I learned that I would miss a lot is I would
Mm.
constantly ball him because it was. I saw the ball off, I saw the glove off, I'm like it's a ball. And
Right.
I look at my score afterwards, and I'm like, son of a gun, that ball is clipping every time.
Mm.
So like you just learn to make adjustments and you learn the way that you process things. So like I learned that I if I miss, typically I'm balling strikes. And I learned it's typically on a curveball slider.
Mm.
So I'm like, okay, if I know that, maybe I'm a touch more aggressive with those in hopes that I don't miss an actual strike anymore, right?
Yeah.
And then, sometimes you just over. correct yourself, and maybe you go too far, and you're like, okay, got to bring it back in, you know. Um, so I think it's just more of studying and learning your craft and trying to
Sure.
be the best you can. And I mean, truly, the goal at the end of every game is that you have no idea what my name is or that I was there. Then
Mhm.
I'm great. I'm
Yeah,
great. But when everyone knows my name and knows I was the home plate umpire, that's when something maybe didn't go right.
sure.
Whether it's my fault or not, you know, that's another story.
Yeah, no, I have a few questions on that stuff. So,
Yeah.
first, you mentioned like with a lefty, if there's, if it's coming off from different, how like much scouting are you guys doing on the players? Like, I know when I was playing, we would get umpire report cards, like as far
Hmm.
as like what kind of temper and things like that, just so you can kind of get an idea of who it is and you get to know the names and I guess one thing I wanted to ask is like when does it become appropriate to call an umpire by name as opposed to blue or ump? Because in high school it was usually blue or ump, and then like
Yeah.
as you start to move up, you start calling by their first names, and that's something I
Hmm.
had to learn as well. But what age would that be?
Man, that's a very good question. I think as soon as a kid feels comfortable
Mm.
speaking with an umpire one on one, it'd be great to call them by their first name.
So like a high school
Um,
kid, do you think it'd be good for like a catcher to be like, "Hey, Brennan, what's up? I'm Jack," or whatever?
I mean, shoot, even middle school age.
Yeah.
With Layla's softball girls, as soon as I started to help coach a little bit, the girls were in eighth grade, and I immediately told our catcher, I was like, "Hey, you're gonna go out there, and you're gonna call them by name every
Mm.
single time,
I
and
like that.
you're gonna protect them at all costs if you can, and
Yeah.
we're gonna cut out all negative body language about pitches. You're not gonna hold it for 3 extra seconds."
Yeah.
Because you think it's a strike, like we're going to cut all that stuff out. But no, that's a really good question. I'm actually glad you asked it. If you can learn their names, I would call them by their name every time because I think it's a sign of respect that goes both ways, right? And
Yeah, I
so
agree with that. So
um, on the major league field, it's borderline awkward if someone calls me blue. I'm almost
has
like
ever has
taken
anyone ever
back.
called you blue or
Only
ump?
in the minors.
Okay.
Only in the minors, or only when it's a player's like rookie year and we don't know each other yet. And he'll say, "Hey, Blue, can you move a step to your left?" I'll always turn and go, my name's Brennan." And he's like, "Oh, okay, I'm sorry."
Well, that's not
But
something we were ever like taught. Like when I was coming
yeah.
up, it was just kind of like whatever you knew kind of thing. And I learned it, right? Because I did a very similar thing. Like, hey, ump, and there's like, hey, my name's whatever it was, right? And it's like,
Hmm.
oh, shoot, I didn't even think of that, right? And then,
Yeah.
um, yeah, just those little inner workings, I feel like that people might not know, or it's great to give insight on.
Well, it goes such a long way. Like, think about any time you haven't seen somebody in years, let's say, right?
Sure,
And they come up to you, and I'm in. What's your mom's name?
Terry.
Terry. Okay. And if someone comes up to you, they haven't talked to you in years, and they go, "Hey, Bobby, how's the Terry doing?" Instantly, you have that connection. They're like, "Oh, wow, they care,"
Yeah,
right?
yeah, sure.
And so I think it's the same thing in baseball. Like,
Hmm.
and so I think what we do on the softball side with her teams is when she goes to the play conference and she gets the umpire's name, she comes back and she tells the girls the name, and she'll write it down sometimes so that they know. And I think that just goes a long way.
I agree because again, it adds that human element, and I think it's a
Yep.
perfect example. When like if I go up to somebody like running a business now, like you want to know everyone's name, you want to know their family, you want to make sure that they understand that you're trying to connect with them, and you value those relationships. And obviously, I don't think that'll help you get calls or anything,
Yeah.
playing. Maybe it might, I don't know, but
No, I mean, it won't help get calls because you're just, I mean, obviously just trying to get the call right. But
mhm,
what it does help is it helps build a relationship that you can build upon in future games, or maybe later on in that same game if you need to talk about a rule or a play, or just,
mhm,
don't, if I'm umpiring a game and I have one side that treats me like a human and one side that is screaming at me and call me blue all game, of course, I'm not going to change any call,
sure,
but I am going to feel more like warm towards this side in
of
terms of
course,
like wanting to talk to them and like, hey, I would go over there and be like, hey, are you guys having fun today? Like, stuff like that. I think
right.
it just goes a long way.
No, I hear you. I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then one other thing, before I got to that, I wanted to ask, you mentioned the lefty, like if it's a low three-quarter guy or whatever, like how much scouting are you doing on players? Like I said, we're kind of
Yeah.
doing our own thing with how much scouting and tech that, player development and, scouting reports, all that stuff goes. Like, what is this? Do you guys have scouting reports? Do you guys like say, hey, I know that, we got Jacob deGrom today. This is his stuff. This is what I'm looking at. These are the tunnels I'm looking at. What does that look like?
That's a really good question. We don't have it like as far as that much advanced scouting.
Hmm.
What if I see who my starting pitcher is, I can go back and the last time I had him as a pitcher, I can go back and look at that game
Okay.
and see what I missed, what I was calling too far. Maybe I was calling balls, whatever the case is.
Mhm.
But that's really not as huge of an impact for me
Okay.
unless someone is a just a like a guy coming hard from the side. Then I'm like,
Mm.
okay, now I have to really adjust. Besides that odd extreme case, for me, it's really more about the catcher. It
Yeah.
really is.
Their frame and
And
stuff.
yeah, the way they frame and stuff, and I'll know which guys can trick me a little bit more than
Mm.
others. And some of the best catchers in the game are the ones that they don't pull it as much and they
They
let
just
it
kind of stick.
right. And now, obviously, this will change at the high school level versus pro. But if we're just going to stick with pro for a sec, there was a catcher where he would never pull anything that was an inch off the plate. He would never do it. Boom. And it's
Mm.
like, okay, ball, and it helped me, and I was good all game, but he would stick it when he needed it for
Mm.
whatever that was. Maybe tie game, and or maybe just the bases loaded. He's got to get his pitcher out of the jam, and if he stuck it, and I'm like, oh my god, he hasn't stuck that all game. That has to be there. Strike three. I'm like, oh, he got me. I was an
So do
inch
you
off.
do you think he knows that? Like, do you think that
Oh
catcher is like,
yeah.
yeah,
Oh yeah. He's very smart about that, and because there's so many times the pitch comes in, and I'm like, I don't know. I think it's a
mm,
strike, or my gut says strike, or my gut says ball, and I have to go one way or another. And so you're taking all these other things into account. Maybe the way the pitch was received, maybe
yeah,
how tall the batter is, and maybe his knees are a little bit higher than others. Like all these factors. So just an extra factor is the fact that this catcher doesn't pull anything off the plate, but then all of a sudden he sticks one where it's very close, and I'm unsure. I'm like, oh, it's got to be a strike,
yeah,
you know.
right.
So I think the way that the catchers are receiving it does play a role, not for every pitch, obviously, but on some for sure. The ones that are
Some close
yanking
ones,
it,
yeah.
yeah, the ones that yank it from the bottom of the zone to the top of the zone, I typically will not have a great game because I'm balling strikes.
Mm.
And if we get into a an argument about it, I'm like, hey man, if you're pulling it that much, you're telling me
It's
it's
off.
not a strike.
Yeah.
Like I understand what you're doing and I understand the training behind that. I totally get it. But I'm telling you the way I operate, if you're pulling it that much, I'm probably gonna ball it because you're
Sure.
telling me that you're trying to make it look like a strike.
Yeah.
And it's not. And so that's where I'll see who my catcher is.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I know this guy's gonna yank it on me.
Yeah.
Stay locked in on the bottom
Yeah.
and see the pitch as best I can.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's interesting to me, man. It's like how much really goes into it, like the game preparation for you guys, and I'll ask that here in a little bit as far as like, what a typical day looks like. But like you kind of mentioned the framing. I know a lot of catchers now and a lot of people like we have our catching guy JJ who teaches a lot of guys that'll start low and work up and then you have the dunks and all those.
Mhm.
Um, does that really like affect? I know we just talked about it. Does that like affect you at all, or is there like certain styles that give you a little bit more trouble behind the plate? Guys that how they set up and those type of things. I know everybody's kind of working from down to up now though, right?
Yeah, I mean, most guys work down, up, thumb underneath it, and come up with it. I wouldn't say there's a straight style that, and I think because every umpire is different the way they see pitches, so I
Right.
think it's tough to say one way or the other. I can speak for me. I struggle if the catcher catches it close to their chest, or if
Mm.
they, especially at the top, if they let it travel
Like a
and catch
curveball
it
that kind of
here.
comes back into it, you're saying?
Yeah, if they catch it there, I'm gonna probably lose sight of it at some point,
Okay.
and I'm not gonna see that glove. And I'm like, ooh, ball. So when they pull it tight to their bodies, or even on a outside corner pitch, if they, instead of getting the glove out there and holding it for me for a sec, if they try to catch it and bring it back towards their body, to me, it looks like a ball,
Mm,
as if you're pulling it back, as opposed to getting around the ball
yeah.
and sticking it on the corner.
Yeah. No, 'cause
Um,
I can
so
remember. Go ahead. Sorry.
yeah. No, I don't think there's any particular style.
Yeah.
Um, I love it when catchers get low. I love it. It's great. The catchers that sit high, especially when they come inside.
Mm,
There's a couple where every time I have them and a hitter comes and they move inside, I have to tell them every time, I'm like, hey man, I cannot see. I'm trying, but I'm
mm,
telling you right now, if he misses his spot and it's on the outside corner, I'm not going to see it. I will do everything in my power to make the adjustment on my end,
yeah.
but I'm just letting you know that I currently can't see. And they almost always make the adjustment. They always get a little lower, stuff like that,
Sure.
which is great. But I understand that you have to work within the parameters of what your coach is telling you and what works for that catcher as far as getting strikes called.
Yeah.
So it's a balance.
Yeah. Like I remember, I think it was Mike Zanino and the Rays for a long time. I still think they do that, but they actually kind of like shade and kind of tilt where it's instead of being
hmm
straight on center, they kind of almost shade to where it's like angled to where they're cat. Does that do anything?
No, I mean that doesn't help me really at all. I don't think so. I don't even think I really pay attention to that. I think I really
Okay.
focus on seeing the ball across the plate and then calculating that in terms of where the glove is.
Yeah.
And I kind of factor that all in. It's almost like a math equation in my head. After the ball comes through, I'm like, okay, I think corner, but he caught ball. It's like you're just trying to process everything very
Yeah.
fast. So I think it's a synchronized relationship between the catcher, the way they receive it, and getting stuff called for them. And I
Gotcha.
think that's why I think catching is just such a beautiful art form, if you
It
will.
is,
Like
man.
I mean, the good ones are good, man, and
Such a different thing.
they run the game, they control their pitchers. It's amazing.
Yeah.
But the ones that don't control the game, you can really tell.
Yeah. How many guys, and obviously don't have to name names, but how many guys in the big leagues do you think are those elite catchers? Like how many elite catchers do you think there are in the big leagues right now?
Man,
They're all
it's
damn
tough.
good, obviously, but
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be honest. It's tough to say any team that does not have an elite catcher. I think they're all top notch. I mean, they're all
yeah.
really good. Um, I mean, down to where the catchers who are not the everyday catchers,
Yeah.
they're
No, the
studs.
backup guys are, I
Man,
mean,
they're great.
yeah, there's guys that I came up with that, hit a buck 20, but defensively could be in the big leagues, and that's
Yeah.
why you see guys that hit 200 in minor leagues, but they go and catch for a long damn time because receiving and like you said, it's an art form, and there's so
Yeah.
much. It's like the damn quarterback of baseball, right?
hmm
There's so much that you have to be aware of, and it's. I think it's next to quarterback one of the hardest positions to play in all sports because you have to hit too, which is
Yeah.
freaking impossible. So,
Right. Exactly.
no, that's great. What I wanted to ask you this, like, when did you know you wanted to be an umpire, and like, what kind of compelled you to go down that road?
So I had started umpiring at West Springfield Little League when I was 11
Okay,
or 12, just for fun, really. And then when I turned 15, just to make extra money, my dad was like, "Hey, let's go umpire a doubleheader, make some money, little father-son thing." Okay,
sure.
so we would umpire.
Did he do it? Did your dad umpire like all throughout the county, kind of?
Yeah,
I didn't know that. Okay,
we actually started at the same time.
that's cool.
So we started when I was 15 because I couldn't drive yet. And so
Yeah,
we would do double headers once every 2 weeks together, just kind of, for fun.
yeah, father
Uh,
son stuff.
yeah. And then after college, I was actually going to go into Fairfax County Police and I was going to go into the police academy.
I remember that
Uh,
because
yeah.
my dad was a police officer in Fairfax for 20 years.
Yep.
So I remember that. I remember that.
Yeah. Yep. And so that was my goal. That was my dream. And so I was going to try to get into the 2013 police academy, it started in April.
Hmm.
And so I had after college, I had like a year and a half of just like a dead period. So I was like, you know what? Let me just umpire and make money.
Yeah.
So I would umpire 10 games a week and just that was how I made money. And then people kept telling me, hey, go to umpire school, go to umpire school. And I'm like, the heck is umpire school?
Oh,
Um,
it's like Hogwarts.
yeah, yeah, exactly. No, actually, what? And they were like, oh, it's great. You'll love it. It's a month-long umpire school in Vero Beach, Florida, and during the month of January. I'm like, okay, why not? So I
Yeah.
went, and I thought if I don't make it, I'll go into the police academy in a couple months.
Mhm.
And I ended up they ended up putting me in the minor leagues, and then it's been the gig ever since.
Yeah, and I kind of wanted to finish with this, but since you kind of brought it up, like this is a great story, and it gives me chills thinking about it because it's so weird how this happened. But it was 2014, and I just got drafted by the A's, and I think it was Lowell, Mass, right? Lowell, Massachusetts,
Yep.
and I'm going into the game. I'm walking in, and the umpire's walking towards me. I'm like, "What the hell is this guy doing? Why is he walking towards me?" And he hands me the ball, and he goes, "Hey, go get him, Bobby." And I look up, and it's you. I'm like, "Holy shit! How did this happen? Where are we right
Yeah,
now? What like alternate universe are we living in that Brennan Miller's about to umpire and be behind the plate for me like literally 2 weeks after I got drafted." So I just
yeah.
thought. Again, I think it's one of the cooler things that's happened to me in baseball. Just because it's yeah, we have these connections on so many levels. I've known you for so long.
Hmm.
I don't know what was going through your head during that. Because for
Yeah.
me, I was like, how the hell am I supposed to pitch right now? Where am I?
Well, so like I said in the beginning, like I've always had this mutual, or we've had this mutual respect for each other, and
Mhm.
especially with how talented you are and were as a pitcher. And so I was so proud of you. I thought it was so cool. And so when we were in Lowell, I saw that you're on the lineup. I'm like, oh, if he comes in, I gotta say something to him. And so typically the umpire will just throw the ball out to the
Yeah.
mound, right, and just carry on. And you're coming to the game. I'm like, oh, I'm definitely walking out. So like it was more me wanting to be like, hey, congratulations, proud of you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go call pitches now, type
Yeah.
thing. Um, and I think that's what's really cool. And when you were getting up into the major leagues, I was really hoping we could have a game
Hmm.
where we
That would have
crossed,
been
and
sick.
I know, and it just never worked. We never
Yeah.
synced up with our schedules and stuff. And now there's a bunch of guys that went to Madison or South County
Driscoll, right?
now.
From Braddock, right?
Yeah,
Is he still
so
up there?
So I had Logan during spring training a couple
Hmm.
times, which is cool. I know Austin Gauthier is in
Yep.
AAA with the Dodgers.
Yep. Oh, I got a
Like there's
funny
all.
story about that.
Oh,
So
do you?
I think it's because he went to Central, right? Springfield
Austin
Little
Go.
League.
Oh, yes, he did. Yeah.
Yeah. So okay. I got a quick story here. So I'm in with the Dodgers in spring training, and I just get sent down to minor league camp. This is my last year of my career at this point, and I'm walking through the minor league clubhouse, and this kid comes up to me and goes, "Hey, are you Bobby? Bobby Wahl?" I go, "Yeah. What's up, man?" He goes, "I got to show you something." So he pulls out his phone, and it's a picture of me with Central Springfield Little League right when I got drafted, like the day after I went, like I threw out the first pitch, like an all-star tournament or something. And he goes, "Dude, that's you."
Yeah.
And I go,
No
"Oh
way.
shit, I'm old, dude. I'm 12 at that point, and I
That's
remember that
wild.
vividly.
Yeah.
It was a cool moment, but it was like my moment to know, like, okay, I'm
Like
getting old,
I'm
man. I don't know
old.
if I should
I'm
be here
old.
anymore." Yeah.
Well, I would help Gallagher coach Dragons. I would coach
Yep.
13 and 14U travel, and Austin tried out for my team. And I was, yep, him.
Definitely.
He's my number one pick. I
Sure.
gotta have him.
Sure.
And I remember calling his dad that night, and they ended up saying no because they were going to a better, higher up team. And I'm like,
Oh no.
I'm like,
Yeah.
that makes sense. Like I totally understand.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, there's those guys that are like coming through.
Hmm.
So I was hoping you and I could sync up. It just never worked. But now, I mean, it'd be cool if like me and Austin had the same
Yeah,
game
it'd be
because
awesome. Yeah.
of the same high school type thing. But
Hmm.
yeah, I was always hoping that would work out, but it never did. But it's all good.
Yeah. Well, we had our one moment, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe a couple AAA games here and there. Um,
Hmm.
but I wanted to when through the minor leagues and stuff, obviously you guys are human beings. I remember, I can't remember what town it was, but you stay in the casino and you see the umpires in there and they're walking around and stuff. Like, how do
Hmm.
you guys handle that? Like, if you guys see players, I know you're not in the minor leagues anymore, but
Yeah.
with guys like, because I feel like you guys are probably in the same hotels a lot of times. You're around each other a lot. Like,
Mhm.
what I feel like those relationships are usually pretty good, right?
I think it's changed dramatically from minors to majors. And the minors is kind of like this unspoken thing where if we see players out at the same restaurant, we are gonna leave.
Mm,
Or, like you try to go your separate ways. Sure, there'd be times where we're in the same hotel, and it's just like, okay, just keep your head down,
right.
just whatever. But I think that's changed a lot now to where I'm passing players on the street all the time, and I mean, if I actually enjoy them as a person, I'll stop and say hi and meet their family, that kind of thing. I think that's really cool because there's a lot of the players that um, I genuinely feel that there is a bond there to some professional level of that.
No,
So,
there
if I've
absolutely is. Yeah,
right, and so like if I have friends or family come to the game and I get them on the field for batting practice for the game, and they're walking by and I'm like, hey, do you mind saying hi real quick? And they're like, oh yeah. I think that's really, really cool because it builds that bond a little bit. And but it translates to on the field to when we are in a disagreement over something. And I think, I mean, in all honesty, I think I'm right. Like if we're just going to talk about like a batter upset over strike three, I think I'm right about 50% of the time, and they're right about 50% of the time.
sure.
And so I think it builds that rapport to when they can be like, they can say something to the effect of like, "Hey, I think it's outside, but it's okay," or I will let you know, or something like that. So, but on the flip side, when they come up to their next at bat, if the opportunity is there for me to ask them, I will. I'll be like, "Hey, Bobby, was that pitch off?"
Yeah,
And then they'll give me the answer that they give me, and I'm like, oh, okay, great. But I always have to be very careful about that because I have to be aware that whatever I say or do, both sides are watching, right? So
sure.
if I let one side scream at me all game and this side hasn't said a word,
Mm-hmm.
this side knows though that I'm going to let shit go, right?
Right.
And
Right.
so it's the same thing. So like I got to be careful with if the cameras are on me or
Sure.
whatever the case is. So I'm always hesitant sometimes, and I'll only ask if I trust the person.
Right. Yeah, like
And
you said,
so,
like having that, I feel like it allows it not to get malicious,
mhm.
where it's like it doesn't
Yeah,
allow it to get
no,
out of
that's a
hand. It's more of a disagreement between two professionals to say, hey, this is what I had or whatever, but you can move on from it as opposed to, the alternative where it becomes an issue that, everyone has to deal with and see. Does that make sense?
correct.
Yeah.
Yes, no, I think that's a pretty spot on way of saying it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. What for you and like kind of going into being an umpire as a human, like what's kind of a daily life day, I guess? Like what does that look
Man,
like? Because I know you guys have a lot of obviously you're the ones that have to travel too. Like it's not just the
yeah.
players, it's you guys have to get on the planes, you have to go to the hotels. I mean, you're doing that all year round. And you said you're doing replay tonight. I'll let you kind of talk about that too. But like what does a usual
Mhm.
day or week look like for you?
Yeah, so I think what's a lot of people don't understand is that if you're a player, you're home half the games, right? And you have your chartered flights, and they tell you exactly where to go, and you step on it.
Much
Here's your
easier.
meal. Much easier, right? Whereas for us, every game is on the road, and so, but it's the same concept of a schedule where every 3 to 4 days we're flying to a new city.
Mm,
The difference is we're flying commercial, we're booking our own hotels, we're booking our own rental car, we're doing all those little things, which I think I have the best job in the world. So I am not complaining about it. I actually
yeah.
enjoy it. I actually get a kick out of like going through hotel rates and finding the best rate for myself, like that kind of thing. So it's actually cool. Um, but as far as like a daily, every person is different. Some people, they don't want to be social, or they get maybe a little worked up if they have the plate that day because they're
Mm,
they're nervous because it does brings a ton of nerves to be behind the plate. So like for me, it's pretty much like Groundhog Day. You wake up, have breakfast, go to the gym, maybe walk around the city, find a nice place for lunch, and then you chill for about 2 to 3 hours
yeah.
before the game. And then when you get to the game, a lot of us like to play spades, card
Yeah.
game spades.
Same as
And
players, yeah.
yep, same as you guys. And so we always get there, we play spades, have one more little quick meal, and then work the game. And then when the game's over, either you go back to your room, call it a night because it's late, or maybe you have a late dinner out somewhere and
Mhm.
just enjoy each other's company. But
Yeah.
you're on to the next place, 3 or 4 days later.
Yeah.
But the cool thing is you get to stock up all your hotel points, your airline points. So that's how
And you
we
guys are booking that
travel.
on your own? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So
Oh, wow.
we book our own hotels and flights and all that stuff. So you're able to rack up all those points. And
Yeah.
so at the end of the year, we'll travel and I just use it on points and it's nice.
Yeah. No, that's cool. I didn't
So
know that. Yeah. Could you get, I mean,
yeah,
during the off season, what are you doing then? Like, you don't have to work, obviously.
no,
What are you
no.
doing?
For me, it's more helping out at the softball facility. I
Yeah.
actually really enjoy that because I love to teach.
Mhm.
That's why I teach on ref masters. I think it's great, and
Yeah.
so I obviously know the umpire world. I think pretty well, so I'm able to teach there. And then when it comes to softball, I'm learning a lot about the sport as of late, but I can teach some things for sure. I mean, I'm no expert hitter, so I
Hmm.
don't really teach hitting, but I can definitely teach fielding. I can definitely teach outfield. Like that's where I feel confident. So in the off season, I don't have to do anything, but I
Yeah.
choose to go to softball and spend time around my wife, and we just enjoy each other's company
That's
because
cool.
yeah, we're like never apart when I'm home for the off season because when I'm traveling now, I'm not going to see her until next week. So it's like
Yeah.
you try to take advantage because you miss so many things, as you know,
Oh,
you
yeah.
miss birthdays, weddings, all those fun things. So
Sure.
I don't really say no to a lot of things when I'm home. Like if you're like, hey, you want to come over for a barbecue? Yep, I do.
Right. I mean,
Because I don't yeah, because I don't want to miss anything again.
yeah, no, I
So
completely understand, man. It's the hard part that people don't really understand. As players, as umpires, guys associated with, playing in MLB or professional baseball, you miss a lot, man. Like
hmm
you're gone, you're on the road, you don't really get the comfort of
hmm
your own bed. Like it as great as a job that I previously had and the great as a job that you have now, it's there's still things that are difficult. You miss things. So completely understand that, man. But
yeah.
you mentioned something I want to bring up. Like you said guys get nervous behind when they're behind home plate. What is the hardest job as an umpire? Is it behind home plate? Is it behind first? Like, what you can go into detail, I guess, about what's difficult about each one, if you don't mind.
The hardest job by far is the plate umpire.
Sure.
And you kind of build up in terms of calls as you work your way around the bases. So if I plate tonight, I'm at
Mhm.
third tomorrow, and then second, then first. And you kind of build your way up. So at third, you might have a steal or two. You might have to have a close catch in the outfield or a
Fair
home run.
foul.
But right, it's like, okay, I can handle that. At second, it same thing, maybe a few more steals. Um, but then you go to first and now you're going to have maybe 20 calls that night.
Mm,
Some are close, some are very wide open.
sure.
And then when you get to the plate, you're calling. I'm on average calling 150-ish pitches a game,
Yeah.
and I think that's the most stressful because even ones where you're 100% right, it just clips that strike zone. You're 1,000% right, and you call it a strike. A lot of times the batter's still upset, or you're hearing it from the dugout,
Yeah.
and it's trying to manage everything. And I think the biggest thing is managing people and managing their frustrations and
Mm,
understanding the why behind it. So if you're yelling at me, I'm always trying. I don't hear the physical words of you really saying, Brennan, let's go. That ball's down. I'm trying to think in my head, why? Why is he yelling? Is it because his batter's 0 for 12 as of late and he's struggling? He's trying to pick him up. Is it because their team's struggling? Is it because he just wants to yell? Because like some guys I know they'll just get one comment in every game. Like
mm,
is it that one comment? So I'm always trying to think through that. Um, and so that's where the most stress comes in because you can be right and still be painted as wrong, whether it's by announcers or the
sure.
TV box or what the hitter thinks. Like I think that's the biggest struggle. But then even bigger than that is when you actually are wrong. And that is the worst feeling in the world. I think
Yeah.
it's hard to express how much I and all my coworkers hate it. When we get overturned on a safe out at first base, I mean, you can't show emotion that you're upset. We can't go hide in the dugout or slam a
Sure.
helmet in there. So you just kind of wear it or something. And it's like, but it just eats at you because you're just wrong to the whole world, basically, right? And
Yeah.
so it's the same with calling pitches, though. But on calling pitches, you have 150 opportunities to be wrong
Yes.
every
Yeah.
game. So
Constant.
it's a horrible, horrible feeling when I'm truly wrong, and I maybe call the guy out for strike three and it wasn't, or I
Mm.
ball four and the next guy hits a home run. Like,
Yeah.
oh God, and so it's like, so then your instincts kick in of trying to manage people, and
Right.
that's where you lean on the relationships that you've built with people. And
Sure.
so if like the perfect example is if I call that ball four and it should have been strike three, next guy hits a home run, I can lean on that relationship I had with the catcher and just be like, hey, Charlie, I missed it, man. I'm sorry. I will bear down. I won't miss it again. Something to that regard. Like,
Sure. Right.
and just trying to, and so that's where when you have that rapport with them, that can go a long way.
Yeah.
So but all in all to your question, behind the plate is by far the most stressful. So
I figured. I just want to
yeah,
know. Like, I'm sure some guys might. I don't know. Pretty
yeah.
easy answer
Well,
there. That would be tough.
when those games are done and you get back to the locker room, you take off all your gear, you just typically sit there for a couple of minutes. You're
Get a
like,
beer and
oh, you're like, oh, I'm done. Like,
yeah.
okay, whew, all right, I'll do it again in 4 more days.
Yeah. Right.
You
It's
know?
like a starter almost, right? Where you get.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get that. How many ejections have you been a part of? You think in MLB
God, it's hard to. I mean, if I were to guess in MLB, I'd say
or career,
10 to
whatever. Yeah.
I'd say 10 to 12,
Yeah.
maybe 10-ish in the majors.
Hmm.
If we're gonna go minors, it's got to be 50 plus.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like it's kind of like it's told to us for sure
Mm,
as an umpire in the minors, like it's okay to run people. Actually, it's a good thing because
mm,
you're going to learn from it.
mm.
And so like that's what I tell all the younger umpires too. I'm like, do not be scared of ejections. You could have. There's one year I had 12 or 14. It was my first
Really?
year in the game. I had 12 or
Wow.
14. Um, and no one said boo to me because it's you want all those things to happen so you learn how to handle everything. Because if you go through
Mm.
your minor league career, you have two ejections, how the hell are you going to handle a bench clearing in the major leagues, right?
Yeah. Right.
So, so it's really good to have all those experiences at the lower
Yeah.
levels so that you're
Same
ready
with
for that
playing.
next, yeah,
Same
so that
thing.
you're always ready for the next step.
Yeah, no, that's cool. And I have a theory, and I want you to tell me I'm right or wrong here. If we're looking at ejections by day game versus night game, day
Hmm.
game has got to be 4 million times more. And I might be wrong, but when you get to the field at shoot, I don't know, 9 a.m. after playing till midnight and you have
Hmm.
to wake up for stretch and you don't go to bed till
Hmm.
3 or whatever it is,
Yeah.
temperatures run a little bit hotter during the day.
Hmm.
And every ejection I've seen are day games. And am I wrong with that?
I can't speak intelligently on day game versus night game. I don't think you're wrong though. Like I'd be willing to bet that you're right. I don't know, but
Mm,
I think you are missing a key factor.
what is that?
The temperature outside.
Okay. Yeah,
If it is boiling hot out,
that's part of it.
then tempers are a lot higher. I will say I have
Yeah.
picked up on that. If I have that day plate job and it is hot in the middle
Mm,
of the summer in St. Louis,
yep.
it is both sides are upset. So
Oh yeah. Nobody
um,
wants to be there.
yeah, so I think you are right. I'm not positive, but I'd be willing to bet that the temperature has a huge role in that too.
There's got to be something. Like I thought about that maybe a year ago or so, and I went to go look it up and I can't find any data on it. So I don't know. I mean, do you know who Max Schrock is by chance? Do you know that he played big leagues for a couple years there with the
Was he a
Reds?
catcher?
No, he
Was
was
he a
a
catcher?
like utility second base guy.
I don't think
Cardinals,
so.
Reds, maybe. He's
No, I
our
don't think so.
hitter. He's our director of hitting. So like we always talk about just stuff that experiences, and
Yeah,
we always joke that every time anyone got thrown out it was during the day. So
yeah.
just want to see if there's any validity to that. What's the craziest thing you ever heard? And you don't have to name names or anything. And if it's too vulgar, obviously you don't have to say anything. But like, what are some of the craziest things you've heard? Doesn't have to
Hmm.
be, again, not the name names, just curious.
Yeah. Um, I mean, obviously, I've been called every name in the book you could possibly think of, and then you
Sure.
mix all those together, and then they come up with a new name for me.
Right.
So I've had all those experiences.
Uh-huh.
Um, I will say I think it's really cool when you have a rapport with a manager in terms
Hmm.
of when they are getting ejected, but has nothing to do with you. And so one of my favorite stories is manager comes to the plate meeting. This is in the minor leagues. He comes to the
Yeah.
plate meeting. I'm on the plate. He goes, "Hey, Brennan, my wife is actually landing at the airport in like an hour. So just so you know, I'm gonna get tossed today. So
Really?
just so you, yeah." I was like, okay, all right, well, I said,
Like
well,
a
just
show out of it.
I said, so I was like, okay, well, just make it good.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay. So in like the second inning, I call a strike, and now I have to go through my order of operations in terms
Okay.
of getting to the ejection, right? Like I have to follow this
Mm.
protocol. And so I hear him yell, "Let's go, Burning balls down." And so I look over, which is my first thing. I have to acknowledge him. And
Mhm.
I'm just staring at him. And he doesn't say another word. I'm like,
I'm trying to help you
okay,
here,
well,
buddy.
yeah.
Yeah.
So the next pitch is like right down the middle. And he's like, "Let's go, burn that ball's up." And I look over and I'm like, "Hey, okay." And I think I said like, "Okay, I heard you,"
Mm.
which is like another level, right?
Okay.
And he was like, "No, let's go, that ball's up." And then you have to do your official, "Hey, that's enough." And you
Yeah.
got the little hand up, right?
Uh-huh.
And he stopped arguing. And I'm like, "Oh my God, like what's gonna happen?" And so like two more pitches go by and he doesn't say anything. And then finally, with like a awkward silence, he just goes, "F you." And I'm like, okay, get out, right?
Really?
And so he comes out,
Mm.
takes his hat off, slams it, starts screaming at me, but
Yeah.
every word out of his mouth is, "You're doing a great job. I
No
can't
way.
wait to," like, just it was all positive things. It was
Uh-huh.
all positive about me, my crew, just telling. And then but as he's yelling this, he said, "What took you so long to eject me?" And now he's in my face, like head bobbing. And
No way.
so I'm like talking back with him because
Yeah.
you know, I understand the role he's playing. So
Sure.
I'm not going to smile or do anything to
I
let
would have,
anyone
dude. I
else
would have
know.
lost it.
So like he's yelling at me, and and I said something else. I was like, "Well, you blah blah blah," and so he ends up leaving and whatever. And the
Mm.
next day we come in the locker room, and he had put a bottle of uh, Tito's in the room for
Yeah.
us. He had just plopped it in there and said, "Thanks, fellas," and like,
That
and
was
that
it.
was it. Yeah, and
That's cool, though.
I was like, that's so cool. But like, there's a bunch of stories like that
Yeah.
where you know where they're doing it for the right reasons, which is cool. But on the flip side, there's been horror stories where
Yeah.
I had a manager that literally waited for me. This is in the lower levels of minor, so you're with two umpires, and waited for me outside of our locker room after the game. He got ejected in the first,
Okay.
and after the ninth inning, walking the locker room, he's standing outside the door, and I'm like, "Oh God, here we go." And
Yeah.
he starts screaming at me, and I'm trying to stay because we're held to a very high standard, right? Like
Yeah, of course.
you don't want to be the aggressor in almost every scenario. So he's screaming at me. He's blocking my doorway to get in, and I'm like, "Hey, please move." And he's just still just screaming all these names.
Mm.
And I just finally get around him. I close the door, I lock it, and he's banging on the door, still screaming at me. And
Really?
I'm like, "Oh my gosh, yeah." So it's like like that's where like in my head it started to turn where
Mm.
I'm like, okay, like us umpire, we're a small group. Like we're gonna stick together on this. That's why like to this day when I see someone criticize an umpire, like if we're just watching the game at glory days and I see
Hmm.
someone say something about the umpire, it like irks me because
Mm.
like we get so much hate as it is,
Right.
and a lot of the time it's unwarranted or it's taken out of context,
Yeah.
which I think the tough thing. But I think those are like that's one story that's like a really positive one, and one that's a really
Yeah.
negative one. But like there's all those little cool little stories. I'm sure you have plenty as a player coming through with
Yeah.
all the little
Oh, yeah.
stuff that y'all do just to have fun and pass time. And
Yeah,
yeah.
especially at the lower levels, man, where it's such a grind and you're not getting paid, and that's just
Hmm.
brutal. So
Yeah.
I can relate on many levels there.
Yeah.
What is you mentioned like your order of operations, like what is that line? Like what needs to be said for it to be like, okay, that's enough, you're out of here kind of thing.
Yeah. So when you immediately make something personal, that's
Mm.
where there is no warning at that point. You're
What can
gone.
be personal, like attack on your like your family or like your name, like what?
So believe it or not, it's just the simple word of you, right?
Mm.
So if you're the batter and you're walking away and you yell, you know, effing horrible, I might just turn and okay, that's fine.
Yeah,
Like,
that's the acknowledgement.
but if you go, you're effing horrible, that's when it's like, okay, boom, you're done.
Mm.
Because now you made it a personal attack on me, right?
Gotcha.
You can disagree with the strike zone all day long. That's fine. I mean, that's a part of the game. But
Sure.
once you make it a personal attack and say you're this, you're that, that's where the line's drawn. And I think one of the big things that you see all the time is when an umpire rejects a player that's walking away. That's that's probably the most common part where everyone's like, "Oh, come on, he's walking away," blah blah blah. And my comeback every time is just because they're walking away, that doesn't give them the right to say whatever they want.
Mm.
And typically, when someone's walking away, they're gonna try to get one more parting shot in
Oh yeah.
because
The last
in
word.
their yeah, because in their head, this is my last chance to say something because I'm about to enter the dugout.
Right.
And I'm not going to get in the dugout and start screaming next to all my teammates. So this is my last shot. So let me get one more thing to make myself feel good and let out some anger.
Yeah.
And a majority of the time, it's something that crosses the line.
Right.
And so there's that stigma of if he's walking away, you can't toss him. It's like, well, no, I'm not going to give them a long leash if they're walking away.
Right.
And if they're the other thing to keep in mind is if they're walking away, typically during that path towards their dugout, I've given an official warning. Okay, stop.
It's enough. Yeah.
I heard you.
Right.
And whether they see that or not, I don't know. But
Yeah.
that's where it comes into play.
Gotcha. And I do want to ask about the Aaron Boone thing. Obviously, that
Mhm.
happened, and that was a real thing that was really put out there in the media and those
Yeah.
things. Like, we don't have to get into super detail about it. Just wanted to kind of get, maybe your side of it and kind of how it all unfolded and kind of the aftermath and things like that. And yeah, I mean, again, if you don't feel comfortable about it, it is what it is. But
No, no, it's all good.
yeah.
So at the time I was 26. That
Wait,
was
was
my
that?
first,
Yeah, was that your
what's
first
that?
year?
That was my first year as a call-up MLB
Okay.
umpire. That was my, I believe, and someone who does stats can double check it, but I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure that was my fourth game behind the plate in
Okay.
major leagues. And so my heart was beating out of my chest
Sure.
before I even woke up that day, right? So now you're going into Yankee Stadium and there's this aura in Yankee Stadium. And
First time there?
yeah, first
Yeah.
time there. And I was young and nervous. And I had called a strike three to Gardner
Hmm.
that was there. I saw the strike. I'm like, okay, strike three. I didn't think anything of it. Like I felt really good about that pitch. And so he goes in the dugout and he starts banging the roof.
Sure.
And I actually had my biggest miss of the entire season on the very next pitch because I lost focus because I'm hearing this banging. I've never
Mm.
experienced anything like that. So now I'm trying to run through my brain. I'm like, is
Was
this
it a day
against the
game?
rules? It was. It was game one of a doubleheader.
There you go.
It was day game. There you
I
go.
told you.
And so he's hitting the dugout. And I'm running through this in my head. I'm like, is this ejectable? Can I warn him? No, I don't think so. Like I'm running through this in my head
Yeah.
while a pitch is coming in. And so the very next pitch is way off the plate. And I called it a strike, wasn't even thinking. The batter tells me, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I just called it a strike. Well, that was the straw that broke the camel's back. So then Aaron comes out and he's yelling and um yeah, and so the ejection occurs and I'm, nervous as all get out and I get through the rest of the game, made the adjustment, but like I think the aftermath was interesting because it was my first time because the next day we were flying to Detroit
Hmm.
and I'm walking through the airport the next morning and front pages of New York this, New York that
Sure.
is me and Aaron. And I'm like, oh my God. I don't
Didn't
like
think that would happen.
just last year I was in Gwinnett, Georgia, umpiring a
Yeah,
game. Now I'm right. And so we get on the plane and the TV's on the back of the seats. Like the headline story on Sports Center was that. And I'm like, oh my God. Like,
yeah,
and so it was, I mean, obviously I got all text and phone calls and stuff like that. But that's where I learned to make my stuff private because I
yeah.
got a lot of hate stuff, a lot of,
Sure, yeah.
a lot of go kill yourself, go all those. And
People
I'm
are
like,
terrible, dude. Like,
oh, it's horrible. So I was like, okay, like I need to. So I made everything private and made some adjustments. But for me, it was more of a mental mindset. I'm like, I can't continue to work games and have my heart like beating that fast when I'm trying to be 100% accurate. Like it's not going to work.
yeah,
So like, you just find ways to adjust with the stress and do the best you can. So that was kind of the aftermath of the whole thing. And it really, I think it got blown up way more than it should. I'm still seeing clips to this day. They're like, "Hey, happy 5-year anniversary of this clip."
no shit, really?
I'm like, yeah. I'm like, what? Why is this that big of a deal? I don't. I
Yeah,
think maybe it's just because the hot mics picked it up so well
yeah.
that that's why it became such a big moment.
I
But
think when he said savages, I think that kind of like made people like
yeah,
be more involved in it, maybe. I don't know.
yeah, and it became like a theme for their season.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So
So,
yeah, no, and I mean, for me, it was more of a learning experience, not
yeah,
so much as balls and strikes or anything, but more just about how I operate and how I can adjust when I'm under stress.
sure. No,
So I think that was
that's
my big
awesome.
thing.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome, dude. Because like it's people don't realize how much stress you guys are under. Like,
Hmm.
because a lot of you guys probably played baseball and like that is the big leagues, right? Like that's your mecca. That's everything that you've probably wanted to do in your life, and you want to do a good job, and you're already putting so much pressure on yourself. And in those situations, it takes a very slow heart rate. And I feel like
Yeah.
what you were saying, you have to be able to learn how to control that, and that's all you can do in life and literally anything. So I think that's a really
Yeah.
cool statement and that you can learn from those type of situations.
Yeah. And I actually used to be not scared. Scared's a strong word. I used to shy away from maybe those big games, or I'm like, oh man, I hope I don't have the plate for
Mm,
this one.
yeah,
Now I want those big games. I want if the you have Dodgers Padres or something, it's a tie game in the ninth, bases loaded, all that scenario. I've experienced that,
mm,
and I'm like, and I want those moments now because I want to be the best. Because now I want to feel that so that if I'm ever blessed to do a playoff plate game, that will seem like child's play,
yeah,
like so that
right.
that just becomes a like, oh, it's okay, like no big
We've
deal.
been through
So I
this
think
before.
it's yeah,
Yeah,
and I think that's part of the process of coming up through the minors and
yeah,
umpiring is like you only go to the next level when you're ready. And
right.
so you build. And so finally, like get, Sunday night baseball, Yankees, Red Sox. It's like, okay, if you can handle that and call a decent game, you could
Yeah.
probably handle this.
Hmm.
Right. And so it's just, you just build up your career basically.
Yeah, no, I can relate like as a player, man. It's like, I didn't play long enough in MLB to like ever feel that like, hey, I want this, I want the
Hmm.
big game, I want the big moment. But you definitely as a player go through those times where you almost have to trick yourself, man. Like I can remember a couple times sitting there like, ooh, I don't know if I want the baseball today, man. Like,
Hmm.
like, and that's
Not gonna
reality
be
because
good.
that's what humans do. But if we can find ways to just say, you know what, I feel that fear and I feel that stress, but I got to go anyways. I'm gonna go do it anyway. Usually, it's not as bad as we made it out to be in our own head. So,
Exactly. Yeah.
um, no, that's really really cool, man. I appreciate you open up about that. I wanted to ask you this too, like you mentioned like Yankees Red Sox.
Hmm.
Going into those kind of moments and those bigger games, those bigger rivalries, and like let's say like a player was hit the night before, like how much does that make you guys on edge, or do you I know there's warnings and things that carry over, but
Hmm.
what does that feel like from a stress level, like kind of having that heightened awareness almost?
It doesn't add it does not add to stress, but what it
Okay.
does do is it adds to my game awareness. So I'm more aware of certain things. Like
Senses are heightened.
if
Yeah, yeah.
right, and so if a guy hits 2 home runs in a game and his third at bat, I'm aware that he's hit 2 home runs in this game, and it's the
Mhm.
same pitcher in the game, and I'm
And he backflipped.
aware that he took 15 seconds to get to first base. Like
Sure.
it just heightens my awareness of what's going on around me in case next steps need to be taken.
Mm.
But now the protocol is we have to get together as a crew before we do anything, before any warnings, any ejections in regards to throwing.
Like add
Um,
somebody.
Yes. So like we have to get together, which has actually been great because now we can bounce stuff off each other. Like if I come into the huddle, I'm thinking, hey, I don't think we should do anything. I think it's warnings. Someone might be like, Brennan, did you miss that XYZ happened? And I'm like, yeah, I missed that entirely. They're like,
Can
okay,
see
well,
that.
we're gonna toss it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
Right.
so it actually works. So it doesn't add to stress, but it just adds to the bigger scope of that you see everything going on.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's like 'cause it allows you kind of like to process the moment as opposed to like just gut reaction, get out of here.
Hmm.
Right. So
Yeah.
no,
Yep.
that's good. What if a guy bat flips, like
Hmm.
what do you got on that? Like what like I know it's part of the game now, but
It's not my place to say whether I like it or don't.
fair.
I will say that if you typically see those bat flips, if you look in the background, typically you see the umpire staring right at it because they need to
Wait.
know, like they
Yeah.
have to be aware of it, right?
Yeah.
So like if I'm behind the plate, the priority is helping the crew or helping myself see if it's going to be fair foul or possible fan interference. Like that's my number one priority. But as soon as I read that it's going to be a home run
Yeah.
and I can take my eyes off the ball, I immediately look at the hitter because
Mm,
I want to see what he does. I want to see how he jumps up and down or doesn't. And I could care less what he does, but I
yeah.
just need to be aware of it. So if further actions need to be taken, or
Uh-huh.
I need to be aware if someone's going to start yelling from the dugout, or
Sure.
if he starts jumping up and down and doing that, my eyes then go to the dugout, and I'm going to look at every single person and see if anyone yells back at him or something. I'm like, okay, that guy was screaming at him.
Hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna log that into my brain, right?
Especially
And
for a 3 game set. Like,
right, like
mhm.
not that there's anything that will come of it, but it's just good information to have. That's all.
Yeah, of course. No, this was awesome, dude. Like I learned a lot. Like
Yeah.
don't really know a lot of these things like as far as a player because I think you take them for granted in a way because you're out there playing, you have all the stress that's on top of what you're trying to do. You almost forget about the human element of having an umpire
Hmm.
behind the plate or at first base and kind of you expect them to be perfect even though that's not what humans are.
Yeah.
So I think this was great for people to kind of learn and to hopefully see, umpires in a different light. I want to ask you two more things and
Yeah.
two things that I think are more like kind of your projects and things. Like what is Ref Masters? You've mentioned that a couple different times and
Hmm.
doing my research for this, it came up on my YouTube and some other things. So I just kind of wanted to get an idea of what that is and what you're doing with that.
So Ref Masters was started by two NBA officials,
Okay.
and it was a way for them to teach officiating and bring the officiating community together as one.
Hmm.
And so they branched out and they got an NFL guy to run football. And now myself and Major League umpire Malachi Moore, we run the baseball side. And
Sure.
essentially the goal of it is
I
to
remember
teach.
Malachi. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, like yes, we teach umpiring and that's kind of like the main thing, but
Hmm.
the big picture project with this is that we're going to bring the umpire world as one because like I said, it's actually a real thing that the number of officials and umpires are going downhill every year. It goes down. And
Hmm.
so our goal is to trend that up. And so it's not like we're not doing it for this reason or that. It's strictly for them. And for me personally, I love teaching. I taught at umpire school after I left there. I taught at umpire school for 4 or 5 years.
Wow. Yeah.
Um, and I don't teach there anymore because now I value my time at home
Sure.
more, but I still love teaching. And so to me, this is my way to still give back and teach. And so it's a great platform and it's totally free for everybody. And so I have a bunch of coaches on there, players.
Yeah.
We actually had a minor league manager on the call today.
Oh, really?
Philip Wellman was on there today.
Okay.
Yeah, and so yeah, we have all walks of life in this sport world on there. And so it's been a pretty cool project, and it's a way to help everybody else, because in the baseball world, there's so many things that are um, it could go either way, right?
Mhm.
And what I'm finding that's fascinating is I'll post a poll or a question and watch how in my head there should be one answer, but yet answers two, three, and four are getting clicked all the time. And I'm like,
Mm.
how is that possible? Like I posted a video today and I said, is this ball fair or foul? Straight up fair or foul. There should be one answer. It's very close, don't get me wrong. Should be one answer, but it's split. It's like 60-40 or 70
Really?
30. Yeah.
Was it
And
fair or
so
foul?
I think it's fair, which actually goes with what the majority is saying.
Okay.
But if you take that a step further than just this fair foul, it goes like we'll dive into arguments with managers, or we'll dive into when you're working a play at second base, like you're trying to give other views and other ways to see things and open up their world to hopefully make them a better umpire and official. And so
Right.
that's kind of the goal. And I appreciate you letting me speak on it for a sec.
No, of course, dude. I think that, and if you need, I know we've talked a little bit about it, but whatever you need from me on that, I would love to help if there's anything I can do as a former player, and just
Yeah.
let me know.
So what I think, what I was thinking of doing was, when I can figure out how to record, actually, I actually brought it up with our CEO the other day. We had a call
Yeah.
and I explained I'm coming on here with you, and I explained my idea. And he goes, well, what I can do is he can hop on the call with us so that he can record it.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna be honest, I haven't figured it out how to record for whatever reason. So he goes, I can record it, just be in the background, and then you and Bobby can talk, and then
Sure.
they have a video editor or something, and they can edit the video, and I can get kind of pick your brain as a coach player, you
Would
know.
love to, man. Yeah, that'd be
So
awesome.
yeah,
Don't
that's
ask
the
me
plan.
if it's
I'll have
fair or
to.
foul though, because I'll probably be wrong and I'll be biased.
No, it's okay. No, I got you there. But yeah, no,
Um,
I will. I'll get back to you on that one.
cool. Yeah, let me know.
Yeah.
Couple more things before we get out of here. Um, I thought someone was really cool, and I came across this just doing some research and stuff. You did some Miracle League stuff with your crew
Oh yeah.
about 5 years ago or so now.
Yep.
Speak on that experience because that's something that's really important to me too. You want to give back to the community and
Yeah.
work with people that can use help and
hmm
make impact on lives, man. Like, how was that experience for you and kind of the crew there?
Well, I think the number one thing that I'm glad you have that same feeling is that when you're in this world, you have a platform. And if you're not using it for good, then what are you doing? I think it's a
Sure.
selfish move to not use that platform. So like, we get, tickets to every game. I don't know people in every city I work. So what I like to do sometimes is when I'm walking to the ballpark, see a family, and hey, where are your seats? And they go, oh, I'm in section 420. I'm like, okay, you want seats in 105? And they're like, yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, and so that's my thought process with this is like you gotta help, you gotta give back in some way. So this
sure.
Miracle League, we partnered up with Care Charities, and Care Charities is the official charity of Major League Umpires. And so there's a bunch of branches that they do. The main big one is we go into children's hospitals, and
Mm.
we partner that with Build-A-Bear,
Wow.
and
Okay.
we will go into like the community room, and the kids will come in and they get to pick their animal. We have about six typically options, and then we have like 10 outfit options.
Yeah.
And the main purpose of that is because everything is being chosen for these kids
Sure.
every day. What medicine they're taking, what time this,
Yeah.
what time that. And so it gives them a chance to choose something.
Mm.
And so there's all these great stories about what these kids have done with their bears and stuff, and it's great. So like that's kind of the main part. Like another part is the charity will give a full scholarship to teenagers who were adopted later in life.
Wow.
So like if you get adopted at 16, I highly doubt your parents have saved enough money for you to go to college,
But yeah.
right? And
Right. Right.
so
Wow.
they will sponsor a new kid every year, a 4-year full ride scholarship to go to college. Like that's amazing. So then another branch was this Miracle League you're talking about, and my crew was fortunate enough to be in town when we were doing that, and that was by far the best experience. It was so humbling because we show up and y you're being treated like a celebrity almost, and I'm like, why me? Because like I'm just a AAA umpire at the time. I'm like, or even if I was a major league umpire, I'm like, why me? Like you guys
Mhm.
are the special ones. And I don't know if you've ever been to a Miracle League game, but
Yeah,
it is, oh, it's so cool. Like,
it is.
everyone hits. The last kid hits a home run, and I think it's such a really cool experience. Like I didn't realize that the entire field is flat. Like I was like, oh, that makes sense. Like
Yeah,
so that everyone can get around the bases. And I
right.
think we were asked to go from 9 to 10, and we ended up staying to like one. Like
Yeah,
just and it's not saying that to like get praise. It's we're saying that because like we wanted to. Like
yeah,
it was so cool, and I wish we could do more of that. And so, like, when I see that, players have their own charities and doing similar things, I always give them props when I can.
yeah.
If I see they're doing something in the community and it comes across my social media or something, if I have the opportunity to say something to them in passing, I always will because I think you're doing a disservice if you're not taking advantage of the platform you have.
Completely agree. No, that is
Yeah.
very well said, brother.
Yeah.
Hopefully people can hear that, and I mean that's awesome. I really appreciate everything that, you do and the job that you do.
Yeah.
It's a hard one. It's probably one of the most difficult ones as far as, how people feel about you, but you're doing something that's needed and a huge part of the game of baseball as a baseball purist, and you're doing a hell of a job, man. So I really appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, but imagine being a hitter that's going 0 for 20, right?
Nope.
Like
Nope.
like
Well, I was a
that
pitcher that
pressure.
game that got hit pretty hard towards the end of my
Yeah,
career, so I know it sucks, but
yeah, and like you have the whole stadium not happy with you. Like it's like
oh yeah.
so I always see the side of a player. I understand the pressures, or I think I do. I try to understand, but I think what was great, and I appreciate you having me on here, was letting people understand that umpires have that same pressure, and that
Oh yeah.
if we're wrong, trust me when I say no one's more upset than the calling umpire,
Yeah.
like
Nobody's trying to
guaranteed.
do a shitty job. No one's trying to do
Oh,
a bad job. Yeah.
guaranteed. I'll always try to hold it in,
Mm.
not get mad. But like sometimes you come back to the hotel room and you're just like because
Yeah. Oh, I get it.
yeah,
I've done the same stuff.
yep,
Completely understand,
exactly.
man.
Yeah, man.
But no, this was awesome, dude. If there's anything I can do to help anything that you're doing right now, please let me know. But I had a blast. It was great catching up. I know we haven't
Yeah, man.
talked much in the last few years, but it's cool to see. It's cool to see what you're
Yeah.
doing.
No, I had the A's, and I'm like, and I don't know. There was something that I told you what it was. There was something where it sparked in my brain. I was like, what now Bobby's doing? Oh, I came
Yeah.
came across
Yeah, Octane.
it
Y-
Octane. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
And at the time I had the A's. I'm like, I'm gonna text Bobby, see how he's doing.
Yeah,
No, that's
that's
cool.
how this started. And I was like, dude, this would actually be a really cool episode if we could pull this off. So I'm glad
Yeah,
we
no,
did,
that's
man.
cool. Actually, I do have a question for you. What microphone are you using?
This is a Audio Technica.
And
Um,
is it Bluetooth or is it wired?
it's wired. I got it like set up like this, so it's a
Oh,
wired
nice.
one to the
Okay.
laptop. Yeah. What do you got? What
Okay.
you using one right now?
Not right now at home. Well, it depends on what I'm traveling with. When I come to replay, I don't have a chance to do laundry, right? So
Hmm.
I have to, my suitcase is strictly 7 days of clothes, like spot on.
Yeah.
But if I'm traveling for just a regular
Uh-huh.
baseball games, obviously you have a clubby to do the laundry for you.
Sure.
So I can just pack, you know, 2 or 3 pairs of clothes.
Right.
So then I have room for a microphone. And for that, I use the
Use
oh, Blue, I think it's called. Is that what it's called? Blue? I
I
think it's
don't
called
know.
Blue. I'll have
Why
to
I
find it. But
have you used these the Rode? They're like the
I've seen those on all over social media,
yeah,
but I've
super
not
easy.
used it.
Yeah, we'll use that for like content when we're doing that around the facility or whatever, and like just put on the hat or the. Yeah, I'm surprised that MLB hasn't like done that with you guys. Like mic'd you. I mean, have you been mic'd up before?
Yeah, so we actually get mic'd up for every nationally broadcast game.
Oh, you do?
It's just a matter of if they air that part. So like they'll
Mm.
always
It's
air
delayed.
it. There's a slight,
Yeah.
well, so when it comes to convos,
Yeah.
then yes, that's delayed. But they have it on as the pitch is coming in, and we're
Uh,
calling ball strikes. But if as soon as it turns to maybe it won't be about ball and strikes right now,
Got it. Yeah.
they'll do it. But also, we also have the power to turn it on
Oh,
and off too. So
gotcha.
I'm always, if I'm ever mic'd up, I always, as soon as a pitch comes in, and if I hear the catcher ask me a question, I'll always flip it off
Mm.
and then answer them, because God forbid I actually leave the mic on and I tell him, no, that's a strike. It's on the corner, but I'm
It's not.
actually wrong on the TV.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, I can
Yeah.
only imagine how that would look on Twitter, right?
Right.
So that's where I'm always really careful. But yeah, no,
Yeah.
we get mic'd up for every nationally televised game, just the plate guy, and we're always aware as to which players are mic'd up or which
Mm.
bases have mics, which is uh we that is 100% needed, because
Yeah. I
not
imagine.
not like not because I'll not because we say anything inappropriate, but more of like I'm aware of, I'm not gonna strike up a normal combo with the third base coach and talk about life and stuff when I know that there's a mic right there. Like I just don't want
Yeah.
that
Like
to come
asking how their
over.
kids are doing or anything like that. They'd probably
Yeah,
rather leave it out there.
I'll kind of just like leave it alone or something. Or like if I knew I missed a call on someone and I know he's wearing a mic that day, probably not going to tell him that day, hey, sorry I missed that call on you last night, buddy. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like
Right.
I always wait till another time.
Yeah.
So,
Got to be
but yeah,
savvy about that stuff, dude.
it's so I like, I'm sure you've kind of figured it out too, but like I really alert. I'm always alert of the cameras,
Yeah.
and I know what's on me, what's not, and it's you can't really do it on the bait on the plate because A, you don't have time. B, it doesn't look good if you're looking around. But on the bases, there's like maybe in like 6 or 7 of the ballparks,
Mm.
I know there's a certain suite I can look in and see the live broadcast. And so I'll use that to my advantage. If like my plate guy calls strike three and the batter's going ballistic, I can look up and I can see what the TV box says.
Mm.
And so now I can use that information. Like if the TV box truly has it off the plate, then I'm like, okay, this guy's probably going to continue to yell when he comes back onto the field. So I need to be
Sure.
aware of that. But if I
Gotcha.
see it actually clipped it, then I'm like, okay, it's dead. Like he's going to go check. He's going to be
It's
like,
gonna
oh
be
crap,
done.
I'm wrong. Right.
I'm sure.
Hoping to get hoping to get some playoffs, but we'll see.
Yeah. When does that?
Um,
When is the roster? Or I don't know. When is it
so
rosters like get released?
yeah, so what we'll get phone calls 7 days before the final game of the regular season.
Got it.
And
So that's
so
coming up.
my first year I got replay of wild card. Last year I was on the field for wild card with Brewers Mets. So my goal this year is to get a plate in some capacity, whether
Sure.
it's divisional or wild card. I don't know, but
Yeah.
that's my goal. So
That's
we'll see.
awesome, dude. Well, shit.
Yeah,
Good
we'll
luck
see.
with that,
But
man. Hopefully,
yeah.
if yeah, I don't really watch baseball much anymore, unfortunately, dude. I don't know why. I just kind of,
I don't either. No, no, you seriously. Like I don't
yeah,
either. I don't blame you one bit. Like when I'm
yeah,
home, I don't want to watch baseball or anything.
yeah.
So
We have
I get that.
yeah. It's just I don't know if it's how it all kind of ended, and I don't know. I just haven't really come to grips with it, I guess. No, I'm fine. Like it just one of those things where it's over, it's done
Yeah.
with, and I still love the game. I'm still around it, but like I can't watch it and enjoy it. I'm like sitting there like, why the fuck would you throw that? Like what are you thinking? Like
Hmm.
can't enjoy it.
Hmm.
But the one game we'll watch it. Well, we'll have TV on and it'll be in the background. But the one game I'll sit down and watch. Do you remember John Batchelor? Do you remember
Yeah.
him at all? Yeah,
Yeah.
he lives down here too, and so does Charlie. And we'll do the 9 inning challenge. Where we'll do like 9 tacos, 9 beers for the first
Oh,
game
that's
of the World
cool.
Series.
All right,
It was
buddy.
great talking to you, brother.
Yeah, man. I will talk to you again here soon.
Sounds good, dude. All right,
See ya.
later.
Bye.